Hey everyone, now I'm back to share a part of my life, sharing my pictures. 99 into 2000 I think was a pretty epic time in my life. And a lot happened that year, but I don't have pictures for every part of it. It's like, I think what I've got laying out here looks like Halloween, so 99 Halloween. Let's see, Christmas 99, and then me and my friend went out back to do a photo shoot of me and my braids and my parrot sometime in like maybe spring of 2000. So I'm going to share those pictures in a moment. So maybe I'll tell a little bit of my story, what my life was like that year. Now, 98, I made a trip to my dad's for Christmas. And I was working at a pizza shop that I was hoping to come back to work for, but some things had happened, and like seemed like the head guy there, boy, Khalid, told me they're not gonna need me because they slowed down so much, and something had happened to their window and they had it all boarded up. And so I'm kind of thinking, I think there were a number of things I did that year for work. One of the things I did is I did get enrolled with a temp agency, so I know I'd been in and out of there throughout the year, and I'd worked at all the major arenas and been to a lot of hotels and banquets and stuff doing that. But I think I was hanging out with my good friend Jeremy. At the time, I think his name was Jeremy Bunyan. Bunyan the Onion. So, and he was living at his mom's because, well, I think he ended up getting sued by his ex-wife. She got pregnant right before they divorced. So, so he was really falling on hard times, and he was working at a gas station over there closer to his parents. So we spent a lot of time kind of like, I would stay the night at his parents' house, and sometimes he'd stay the night at my house, and he'd help me with the commute, and he was kind of helping me stay on my feet. So I think Jeremy was being a good friend at the time. And I'd stayed in touch with this guy I met online. So the year before, boy, I can't remember, it'd been like maybe fall of 98. I was going online more, and I made friends with a guy named Chris Johnson. So I went out to Utah to visit him. So I was really looking for someone to make music with, and I was kind of desperate and frustrated, and I was just happy to have someone friendly enough to talk to me that knew anything about music. But I actually have his album here. I mentioned, Alpha Star. So I'm in Mirror Vision, so it's backwards. Alpha Star, I still have the tape, so I think it's neat that I still have that. And it's not that great. He sounded like he knew a lot about music, but it's like he doesn't have, at least on that album, doesn't really seem like he has the spirit behind the form quite figured out yet. And made that trip out, and I just remember I was just really bummed out. I was just having a bad time, and I let people in my life that I probably shouldn't have. And so I was hanging out with this crazy older guy just to have someone to talk to and smoke pot with, and kind of a queer dude. I made friends with all kinds of crazy people and street people and stuff just to have company, and it kind of backfired sometimes because those people would end up ripping me off and stuff. And well, God, I can't think of Mark. Okay, so Mark picked up this guy named Ken, and Ken was staying over there, and I think maybe Ken was just sort of it's what you call P&P, like they're probably doing drugs and doing sexual stuff, but it wasn't like, these guys are in love and all that, But I was just coming over to visit with those guys, and I said something to get him kicked out, like he wasn't supposed to be staying here, so I let him come and stay with me for a while. And then one day when Jeremy was coming to take me to work, I was trying to get Ken to wake up, and he was trying to act like he couldn't get out of bed, and so I left him in my apartment, and he ripped me off. So he took a bunch of my music down to some used record store. So man, it was a rough time. And then like going to see Frontline Assembly was a rough experience. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in the Jody Vision, because I wanted to join this band eventually. I went to see them, and I really feel like I got bullied. Maybe it was playful, but it just had it was just a bad night, like nobody got hurt or anything, but my feelings sure did. Ha! I think this spring I also dropped out of Shaolin. I was just really burned up over Master Tay. I tried to stay in, like, so what if Master Tay is this way or that way? It doesn't matter. If you like the art, you should keep training. But I was just And I think I was in class and I was I just felt like I was in tears. I just felt so upset that I eventually told, I had a talk with the married couple, Master David and Sharon. I spoke to her about it. I figured she'd be a better person to talk to. So I told her how I felt about Master Tay and all that stuff. And so we had a talk and I took a break, but I did come back in 2005. I did try to write to Master Tay and tell him I'd like to come back to class and stay friends and stuff. So, but at this point I was dropping out, and then I'm thinking, I remember quitting that gas station. The person that became the manager didn't like me, and I remember one day me and Jeremy were going down, and I was gonna get ready to open a store, and it was like nobody had been working. The trash was piled high, and just he said, "You know what, Jody? Don't even go in there. It's a time to leave." So I quit that job, and I can't remember. It's so crazy. I can't even remember the name of the gas station we worked at, because I know before that we worked on 10th and Broadway at Total Gas, and then and there's just so many of them. But the first one I worked out on Kipling by Jeremy's house, and then I transferred to a closer one so that way I wouldn't have to ride with Jeremy. I could catch my own bus ride up there, and I'm thinking it was right up the street from the Kung Fu class. So after I quit training there, I think some students came by and I told them I had to drop out. I just felt like, Master Tay kind of forced himself on me sexually, I told somebody. And so another student came by, a more loyal student, said, "So why did you drop out of Shaolin?" I said, "Well, because Master Tay, I found out Master Tay ain't my friend." He's like, "Yeah, well, he's not a lot of people's friend." Anyways, I think I put in a lot of temp work that year, if I think about it. Can't remember everything I did, but like food team or someplace like that. I can't remember. But yeah, we worked out a lot of I don't know, like ball games and stuff and banquets there, and so I don't know. I managed to have money and was working and saving up, and then eventually I had Lynn move in with me, and we signed a lease so he could be there legally. But then we kind of let Jeremy stay there a lot, and we kind of got busted for that at some point. They kept telling us not to let him stay there, because they don't want to, they can't have 3 people living there. But the reason we were staying together is because we were trying to get into a 3-bedroom apartment, so we could have a place we could afford and have each other's support. Well, when this Halloween show was coming up, I wanted to fly my dad into town to help me with Frontline Assembly. I just felt like I was having a problem with them, because I'm a young girl and I don't have a lot of support, and certain people in town were kind of turning him against me. So I thought maybe I could get my dad to come to town and send him up to talk to Bill Lieb. And then I mentioned to somebody that I was doing this, and he canceled. So I don't know if that was my fault or if it was just a lovely coincidence, but Zymox was still playing, so we went to that. And then we kind of had a good time with that. It was a fun week, but I had to have Jeremy and Lynn stay someplace that week. And then I went to see my dad for Christmas. So I was really feeling nervous about the trip, so I wanted to take someone with me, and my friend Chris sounded interested. My dad was willing to pay because the plane tickets were kind of affordable at the time. So so we went down there, and then into 2000, so I've been going to Visionary State, and all this stuff was kind of catching up with me, and I was just really, I don't know how to explain it, but it was just really off-centered by it. I just really was confused about what was happening there, and I wasn't working, and I was just really going through a rough time with it. And so Lynn and Jeremy ended up moving out and getting their own place because they didn't want to deal with my shit anymore. So it kind of created some resentment there. That's why I felt like the visions and Bill Lieb and all that whole issue that I've been going through kind of came between us as friends. And I really wish that would have worked out better. I think it would have been nice if all 3 of us could have got a place together and supported each other. Instead, I ended up probably having a more difficult time, right? So it probably would have been much better. But who knows? I believe in karma and everything happens for a reason. Maybe everything was meant to happen the way it did on purpose. So I ended up there for a while at the Acacia building. But the visionary stuff and all that, I really got scared out of there. It's like I found out the place was on the haunted house tour and all this type of stuff, and started thinking if I just moved out of that building, all my problems would go away. And it did seem like things tapered off for quite a bit, and I think I got hit heaviest in like 99 into 2000 was a really heavy time for the psychic phenomena in my life. And then 2010 when I came to Montana, I had a little bit of that. It seemed like I was experiencing a different version of it. So I can't wait to tell about all those different times. So anyways, I just wanted to give an overview of what my year was like and what I had to do, because I think 99 to 2000 I was working at temp agencies. I was really having a hard time because I had a bad case of the flu in January. And then I think my dad even came up and tried to talk me into moving to Florida with him, because I was struggling and almost didn't have money to pay rent. I would have been close to eviction if he didn't kick me down some cash, you know. So, but I did manage to get back on my feet and keep working. And then I moved out of the Acacia because it was too scary. So I think it was all like temp agency stuff. So I remember working at the Pepsi Center quite a bit, and they had to let me go one day because I put my hair in those braids. But anyways, let me show you the pictures I set aside here of the Halloween night. So my dad saw me go in the bathroom. I think I just had on a tank top. I went in the bathroom and I started just smearing that white paint all over my face, my arms, and my hair. And I just, I was looking kind of wild. And so my friend Chris comes over, and I could hear my dad going, "Man, I don't want to go to a concert with somebody that looks like that." Like he said I looked like a freak or something. But when I was all done with my paint job, he took a lot of pictures. They really wanted a good shot of me going like that. See, I wanted to go see Frontline Assembly dressed like that so I could do my kung fu dancing, because I think Bill Lee has like a tigery voice, like if I could think of a Shaolin animal, I would think a tiger crane for those guys, right? And so there's me looking in the mirror. And it's just kind of cool. I can see what my apartment used to look like. I had the same posters on the wall for a long time, but I think I was adding new stuff here and there. Seems like I've always had my trophies in that same window. I never bothered to change that. And when you go to somebody's place and they're a Shaolin student, that typical thing, you see all those weapons in the corners over here. It looks like a spear and some staves, and then on the other corner past Chris, there's actually a Kwanda, but it was turned sideways, so you can't see the big old blade it's got on it. And then so anyways, then I went to Florida and I took Chris down there. So this is my cousin Steven, I've mentioned in previous videos. He's always been like a close friend of mine growing up, and so this is the last time I would probably see him for the rest of my life, for all we know. So last time we'd all go to my grandma's house in Big Coppitt Key and meet together. So I would see my cousin Steven, my Uncle Charlie. That's kind of his stepdad. And then there's his mother, Aunt Darlene. And then there's Uncle Chuck at my dad's house with his big old snake. Now there's my Uncle Don over there, just a quick glimpse of him. And my dad's girlfriend, Dale. Here I am exposing Chris to my family. And we have nice Christmases where I grew up at. So then at home, we get to smoke lots of marijuana, la marijuana. And there is Dale. That's my dad's girlfriend. She's been with him, I don't know, they got together around 98. Maybe they lasted to about 2003. But yeah, she was a Portuguese woman. So I'm really surprised my dad went for such a dark-colored woman, right? Now, this is the concert I was talking about. I went to that spring. So it's interesting. I'm making this video on the 30th of April, 2024. This is almost approximately 25 years ago. Long time ago. Okay? So, made that trip to Florida with Chris. Now, again, see my Uncle Don, my Uncle Chuck. That would be the last time I'd seen my Uncle Charlie, Steven, and my Aunt Darlene. But I saw my Uncle Don like one more time in 2004. And then see, we all have cool band shirts on. Check it out. So Chris has got My Life with the Thrill Colt. I've got D Croops. Can't see what that one is. And then Then up here, my dad's got on his KMFDM, and I've got on my Joy Division. And now, me and I don't know if it was my friend Ralph, but we went out and did a photo shoot because I did my hair in braids. And I really liked the clothes I was wearing. This is what I thought was a good idea, just being barefoot outside. And there's me and Captain. So I lost Captain, I don't know, a few years later. I'll tell all about that later, how I lose Captain. So maybe there's a half a chance. If he's at a rescue center, maybe we'll find him. But if somebody's adopted him and he's lived his life, maybe I'll never see him again. So I don't know if that's like spring into summer 2000, but I remember working at the Pepsi Center and them telling me I'm not allowed to come to work with my hair like that. Anyways, I thought it'd be fun to just catch up on what was going on in my life and that part of my life. I think 99 and 2000 was pretty epic time. Even though I was dealing with a lot of depression, I wasn't working very steady. I think the most exciting thing about the year 2000 for me was probably my own personal experience with the visionary state. And so that may not be an interesting subject for everyone, and so that's why I make these videos separate. Like, I'll touch on it and say that's something that was going on all the while, and affected a lot of things, like splitting up with Jeremy and Lynn, having them go. And then middle of that summer, I moved out and went to stay with my friend Jim, and he was a taxi driver, so he introduced me to the company Metro Taxi, where I would get signed up and be a taxi driver for the next 2 years. So anyways, maybe I might have a picture. I don't know. I'll have to take a look. I'd love to see a picture of me in my taxi. But I ended up moving to Greeley that fall, and my friend Chris was staying in a place where there was bedrooms, and I could rent one for really cheap. So I was spending the extra gas money to drive to Greeley just to live someplace that I thought was safe. But sometimes I'd cop out and try to camp out at my friends down in Denver. Anyways, I think that brings me up to about the middle of 2000 as far as what I have in pictures right now. So I'm going to try to scour and see if I can find some of those good taxi pictures, because otherwise this is where I start to get less and less pictures. And then more of my pictures are going to be in my cell phone, so I'm going to have to figure out how to get them out or share those one day. So anyways, you guys have a good day, and appreciate it if you're still watching. That means you must give a fuck about me and my little life. Ha! You guys take care. I'll talk to you then.